to that dad guy. It's April the 12th, 2024, and it is a beautiful day here today. It is currently 13 degrees Celsius. It's going to go up to 16. We might get rain later on tonight, but for now, it's dry outside. It's warm. It's t-shirt weather. When spring comes, this is kind of what we look forward to, isn't it? So that's been fun to experience that today. And relatively, the temperatures have been pretty good this week, in around 10 plus degrees. And I think we've got that all through the weekend. So yeah, spring's here. I don't think we're going to have any more snow. Let's hope not. Here we are in the middle of April. What else is going on? Sometimes people ask me what I'm watching on TV lately. Well, if I must be honest, I love the show Taskmaster. I don't know if you guys are into British comedies. I certainly watch lots of them, whether it's 8 out of 10 Cats, does Countdown, or the regular 8 out of 10 Cats. There's lots of different game shows we watch. I've got a bunch of favorite English comedians too that I really enjoy too. So I watch lots of those things. Well, I've been into Taskmaster since it began, but lately on YouTube, and that's where you can find it too if you aren't in the UK and you want to find it. It's on Channel 4 in the UK, but here you can find it on YouTube. All the episodes are there, and I've been going through all the outtake episodes lately. So that's been a lot of fun to see some of the behind the scenes stuff. So there you go. If you're wondering what I was watching, I've been watching Taskmaster outtakes lately. What else has been going on? Well, the mail has caught up. Last week, if you tuned in on Friday, you would have seen that I didn't get any official Postcrossing. This week, I got 12 official postcards from Postcrossing, so I'm pretty happy about that. I still have to write some. A bunch of mine are getting to their destinations already, so it's opening up a lot of slots. So I'm going to have that to do. I just got caught up on my friend mail yesterday, and now I've got all this mail to get caught up on. So lots going on. All right? That's the synopsis. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you leave positive comments, you share with other people, and you make sure the notification bell is on so you don't miss out on anything. Let's get started with the official Postcrossing cards. First one is a Beatles card. I've had this card before, and I've sent it out in the past. This comes from Finland. It comes from Ida in Finland. And she loves the Beatles too. So she said finally spring is here and she loves it. Just came back from a walk in the forest with their 2 dogs, which are smooth collies. So thank you, Ida, for that. And I'm going to show you the stamps. Nice looking stamps. So thank you for the Beatles card, Ida. The next card comes from Russia, and it comes from Yulia, and it is this crest. I'll turn it sideways here. It says she lives in a small town near Moscow. She collects interesting facts, is what it says. The first astronaut, Yuri Gagarin, studied here. Fidel Castro came here many years ago in the 90s as a criminal group operated here. That's interesting, a little bit scary too. But my favorite place in the whole house is Crewman, the director of the American factory that was here 100 years ago. Now there's an antique store here, and I like to cuddle the 150-year-old teddy bears. Now we've had a chance to chit-chat a bit on through messages back and forth through Postcrossing. The thing that was special about this card was it was part of a glitch. So I don't know if you guys experienced it too. I had one card in this glitch too. I pulled an address, I got it, and then it disappeared. The problem with those cards were the addresses were lost. So some people, like this one that Yulia sent off the address, but we can't register them. The numbers don't exist in Postcrossing anymore. I got a message from them when I tried to register it, and so I think what they've done is they've opened up a slot for the person who sent it, so they won't lose anything as a result of it, but they weren't able to be registered. And Yulia said that to me. Oh, thank you so much for writing, but you haven't registered it. I tried. Postcrossing wouldn't let me because it doesn't exist anymore. There are the stamps. And I really wish I could send cards to Russia. I can't steal from Canada. Russia's got a ban on for us. Or we have a ban sending mail to Russia. So I can't even send her a card as a thank you, which I would love to have done. So thank you, Yulia, if you end up watching this video. The next card is this nice Lego card. And this comes from Sarah in the US. She's from Missouri, the state of Missouri. And she says she enjoys she lives close to Route 66, and she enjoys some of the festivals that come along to celebrate that road. Her favorite band the Beatles as well, so that's great. She can listen to their music anytime, doesn't get bored of it. I'm the same way, and sometimes I actually put their music on if I'm feeling a certain way. I want to hear certain songs or reminisce about this and that. So thank you, Sarah, for that. Thank you for all the decorations too. She got hedgehogs all over the place on it too, so she really personalized it. That's a wonderful thing about decorating the back of the card. Whether it's the stamps you choose might match something on the card, maybe washi tape matches the colors, or something someone's into. Maybe you've got a stamp that they're into as well for that, or the stickers. So thanks, Sarah. Next card comes from Shirley, and this is a very interesting card. This is Shirley and her husband, and these are a whole bunch of penguins. And it says, Don and Shirley Reader at a volunteer point in Stanley in the Falkland Islands. So they live in California to begin with, but she lives in a small area that doesn't have a lot of postcards, so she made this one of one of her trips. They went on a cruise to South America and to Antarctica. They said one stop in the Falkland Islands. They got to ride in a Jeep off non-marked roads for an hour and 45 minutes until they got to see all these penguins. What an amazing journey. There are the stamps. And it's so wonderful that you shared that and that special story. That's the nice thing about creating your own cards too, is that you can tell a story that's a little bit more personal, rather than maybe a postcard that's about just a picture of your city, and on the back sometimes you write generic things, let's say. This was a lot more personal, so I really appreciate that. Thank you, Shirley. The next card also comes from the United States. Comes from the Boston area, Massachusetts. That's where it's canceled from on the back. This comes from Rosalind. She says that she's lived in Winnipeg and Toronto for 8 years and once visited the Covered Bridge potato chip factory in New Brunswick, a beautiful province with an abundance of nature. I hope you enjoy this postcard of Edison for your That Dad Guy channel. Oh, of a dad and son for your That Dad Guy. That makes more sense. Okay, before I read the rest, I do want to touch on, she went to the Covered Bridge potato chip factory. That is up just past Heartland in the Woodstock area, I guess. Well, I guess it's in Heartland. But it recently burned down about 4 weeks ago, just before I went to Montreal. There was a fire and it burnt to the ground. So we're hoping that they rebuild. It meant a lot of jobs in the small community were lost as a result of it, and the potato chips were good, so we hope that they come back strong and better than ever. So just in case people out there are watching about it. The other thing, now I've sent this card out too. I got this card the same time when I bought a packet of cards, and this was in it and that was in it, so it was interesting to get them both this week. But on the card there's this, and I never really noticed it before. I don't know if I've even sent this card yet. I may still have it to send. But it says, the article features Babe Dickinson, an Olympian and 10-time LPGA winner who passed away the same year as this edition of the American Weekly was published. At the time of her death, she was the top-ranked female player in the U.S. This is... It just says happy Easter or happy spring to you and your family. So thank you, Rosalind. Yeah, I didn't know that fact about this article. So I really appreciate you giving that extra bit of detail. There's the forever stamp on it. Made it extra special, so I appreciate that. The next card comes from Germany. It reminds me of Little Mermaid with the crabs there, but on the back, this comes from Nadine, and she is in Württemberg. And when she wrote this, it was Good Friday, so happy Easter. She spent some time in Frankfurt yesterday and visited the Lego store. They've got a lot of lovely Disney sets. Yeah, there are a lot of really cool Disney sets out there, including the Disney Castle, which would be fantastic to get. I do not have it, but... So Nadine, thank you for that. Thank you for the stamps. This one's an interesting stamp too. I hadn't seen that one before. Looks like it's teaching sign language. I'm sure someone out there can say, yes, that's what they're doing, or no, they're doing something else. Next card is a Blue Cat card. Very special Blue Cat card. And this one also comes from Germany. It comes from West Germany, also loves blue cats, and the dream is to one day travel to Canada. This comes from Bridget. Well, hopefully, Bridget, you get to realize that dream. Canada's a beautiful country as well. I know Germany is fantastic. There are a lot of things to see. I encourage you to come to the East Coast and see what's here. I know a lot of people, when they come to Canada, they maybe go to Quebec or Montreal or Toronto, probably Niagara Falls in Ontario, or they go all the way up to Vancouver and Victoria in British Columbia, and sometimes miss the East Coast or the central part. There's such a variety in this country to see, and you can't all see it in one trip. I get that. So make sure if you come to the East Coast. There you go. There are the stamps. Thank you, Bridget. A lot of cards came from Germany this week. This is another one, a nice, beautiful garden. And it says, many greetings from Germany. Her name is Magdalena. She lives in a small town in Bavaria. And she's had a chance to watch my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that. There's beautiful architecture. Now, the Brandenburg Gate, you know, its significance with East and West Germany. And just to see, you know, what it looked like then and to now, or near now, current to present. Big changes around the world all the time, so it's interesting how history works. The next card comes from Germany. It is a Star Wars card. You've got battling the good and the evil. This is lovely greetings from Bielefeld, is what it looks like. Landmark castle, and castle is 810 years old. Sorry, it's very hard to read. 344,000 people live there. The stamp shows Rathenberg, the old town famous for medieval Rothenburg. There's the stamp, so you can see the stamp, what they're talking about. Very nice. This comes from Monica. She says Happy Easter on the back too, but lots of medieval architecture there, and she's got some Star Wars washi or stickers down the side. Thank you. Next card comes from Annette in Germany, and it is a 1000 Yen card. Always happy to get these cards. Says normally she lives in Frankfurt, but at the moment she oh, okay, sorry. I got lost in it for a second. I forgot. He says normally she lives in Frankfurt, but she's currently with her boyfriend. He lives near the Baltic Sea. She loves to be by the sea and listening to the sound of the waves, but loves to walk in the forest as well. Now it's spring, so new leaves are growing. Yes, springtime is there. She's even drawn some flowers on the stamp. So the Sea 1000 Yen card marks the Baltic Sea almost. I've had this card once before, but I really love it. Hedgehogs and foxes under the mistletoe. This comes from Ina, and she's also in Germany, in northern Germany. She says she likes to cycle through nature, especially now that it's spring when everything is green and colorful again and the air smells so sweet and spicy. May your spring be just as wonderful. I hope it will be. And it was 16 degrees when she sent it, so it's kind of like the weather we're having today. Mind you, she has super sunny there. We won't be as sunny, but thank you so much, Ina, for that. Next card is a hedgehog, but it is a 3D hedgehog. This comes from Harold in Germany, and he's used the official Postcrossing stamp. Always appreciate that. It says, winter and cold are over. Spring has come. Quite sunny greetings. Best wishes from Berlin. And it's got a little bit of facts there about the European hedgehog, which is what we're seeing. Our family pet, excuse me, Polo, is an African hedgehog, so he looks a little bit different, a little bit smaller. So thank you, I appreciate that. That is it for my official Postcrossing. Now I've got friend mail and surprise mail. Let's start with a surprise one first. It is another blue cat, the blue cat at Disney. This one comes from China, and it says it's Ronan from China. I've been watching your videos on YouTube for like a month. I really enjoy watching others share about their own Postcrossing journey. I found your address below the video, so I sent you a Chinese version of the blue cat as I thank you for your passion for Postcrossing. Love from China. Well, those always make me happy. There's beautiful stamps, and she's got blue cat stickers and more Disney stamps down below. She's done a fabulous job. I love when people take the time to send me a note or something saying they're watching the channel. it really brings the world a little bit closer together and expands it too. What I mean by that is, yeah, it's easy to connect. It's social media, whether it's leaving a comment on one of my videos or sending me a message on Instagram or putting a card or a letter in the mail, brings us all really close. But when I see how far these videos that I make from inside my house mostly travel, it kind of blows my mind that I can be here in a small city on the eastern side of Canada, and there's someone in China watching one of my videos, or in Finland, or in Greece, or United Arab Emirates. Who knows where you guys are watching it. I do appreciate it. I hope there's some people start to watch in Africa. I haven't gotten any responses. I know some people that used to live in South Africa or in Kenya or wherever, but I haven't gotten any letters from there saying that they watch my channel. So hopefully they do, but it blows my mind that you guys are watching all around the world. All right, next card comes from our friend Aaron in Colorado. We've got Bigfoot delivering the mail in his United States Postal Service uniform with his bag. It says, recently I've received mail meant for someone one state over. It was an official Postcrossing card as well. What are the chances? What's your biggest postal coincidence? We always get mail for Sydney, Australia, instead of going to Sydney, Nova Scotia. So that sometimes happens in the postal system here. As far as my mail, I have had my mail carrier deliver postcards to me that weren't mine, just because I think they thought, oh, more postcards, they must go to him, but they weren't mine. But I never had mail delivered to me that should be in a different province, not that far apart. So you getting stuff from another state over is quite funny. There are the stamps. And I love the big stickers, these guys. I got one of these things. I saw that our friend Renee Lewis got one of those balloon guys that blows up and down. She got one from her sister and brother-in-law as part of their advent calendar. And when I saw her open it up, I thought that would be great. I bought one of those for my wife as well in purple and gave it to her for Christmas, so it worked out well. So I have a connection to those things, so thank you, Aaron. The next card, it comes from David in California. Let me just fix his address here. We have this one. It's a meetup card. And on the back, you can see all the people that were there. I really like the tooth one. A lot of different meetups. Nice big cancellation on there too. Up by the stamps. Cute stamps. So all around a playful card. You know, it talks about wine country in California. But yeah, very playful card. He wasn't done though. He sent me another one. So the next one has the forever stamp on it, but it's a 1,000 Shen card. I guess it goes in this direction. And it looks like we've got a hedgehog and a hare. And it says, spring greetings. Hope it's fun and great no matter how you celebrate. And he's decorated with Easter stickers too, with Easter eggs. So this would be his Easter greeting one. So I'm getting lots of Easter and spring greetings still coming through. I don't mind that a bit. I love the fact that winter has gone away, and that it was a pretty good winter we had this year too. Not a lot of snow, not really all that cold. Came and went without really much fanfare. All right, the next card comes from Steffi in Germany, and we got another 1,000 Shen card. And she says, here's a second card. Well, there's a second card because I haven't shown you the first card yet. I've done these out of order. So, and she also talks about springtime. And look at the beautiful stamp. That one came out last year, but I don't remember seeing it on cards last year when it came through. So I'm glad to get that one. This is the first card she sent. All the topiaries there. All the trees all cut up in an Easter way and just says happy belated Easter greetings. On this Easter Sunday, we visited her brother and family, and yesterday we were at the house for my sister. We played some funny games. I'd love to know what those games are. I love board games. I love card games. So we'll have to talk games and things in the future. Okay, the next one is in an envelope, and it comes from Media in Finland. And first of all, we have to look at this stamp. This stamp's cool too, but this tramway stamp is just beautiful. Well, this comes from Estonia, even though she's from Finland. She was traveling over there, and she sent me a blank floral card, and we have a nice hedgehog card. Getting a few hedgehogs this week. Looks like Christmas with the stockings hanging by the fireplace. She said she was in Tallinn, and tomorrow she was going to go on a bus trip. And then she sent me this winter postcard, because she said there was lots of snow still in parks there in Tartu, where it was only 2 degrees. This was the middle of March when this was sent. And then she sent me another one, which probably is my favorite of the 4 that were sent in this card, is the vintage pop or soda, however you want to call it, bottles, and just a vintage card. This talks about Little Bell lemonade and apple juice drink. And this is kind of an advertisement from the 1980s. So she said she went to another museum shop at the National Museum in Tartu, and she bought 16 postcards. So a lot of her pen friends, I imagine, are getting great mail. Now, she sent me one more. This one comes from Finland. There are the stamps. I might have got a little zealous when I tore it open at the top, but I didn't rip the stamp, fortunately. Inside we have a space-themed, it looks like it's an amphitheater. You can see the people here all watching above. They said she recently went to the Science Center in Vanta. Well, that's where this card comes from. And it was just before Easter, or just after Easter, sorry. And then she sent this one of an opera. She said they had an open house at the opera about a week ago, and she watched a mini opera of Carmen and the ballet exercise there. And then she was going to go off to a movie. So getting to see lots of different things. It's quite the stage set up for this. Almost looks like it's set up like a fashion show. So those are very interesting cards. So thank you, Media, once again for sharing all your travels and experiences. The next card is a whale of a tale. This comes from our friend Renee Lewis, and if you haven't watched her channel, you should go and check it out. She also does lots of post-crossing here too. She's part of the Unicorn Gang, and she said she had a great time on her vacation to the Gray Whale Birthing Lagoon in Baja. She said she didn't want to come back. She had such a great time. And then the Unicorn of the Sea, the Narwhal Forever stamp. So thank you, Renee, for sharing that. She wasn't done, though. She sent this one from San Diego, which the word San Diego is kind of elevated and sparkly. Almost feels like it should be Vegas the way it's all done up, but nice card. She said it was nice to be back on vacation in her hometown of San Diego, even though things have changed a little bit from when she used to live there. The stamp got a little bit canceled over, and we've got another narwhal. So I'm glad you had a great vacation, Renee, and that you shared a few cards and your experiences. We've talked about the solar eclipse. Well, here is a postcard from Kyler in Prince Edward Island that he made himself. So we got the total solar eclipse. You've got the date down below, and Prince Edward Island there with the red sand they're famous for, and an image of the total solar eclipse. I got to see it. He got to see it. He even included the total solar eclipse stamp that Canada Post put out. And if you haven't seen that stamp, you should go check out my video on it. It looks really cool under a UV light if you have it. So thank you, Kyler. And the next card comes from Julianne in Germany, or Jules. She said, these potatoes in salt crust are a typical dish. I'm still reminiscing about her their vacation. So I did send her a message. Are these cooked potatoes just rolled in salt, or what else is done differently about these potatoes? Maybe the bowl doesn't give it justice. Maybe the potatoes are only this big, not full-size big baker potatoes. I'm curious about it. Do they come across like a French fry when you do them that way? Is it a special type of potato? So all these questions I have about these, so thank you, Jules. The next card, I'll show you the card first and then I'll give you the context. So this is old Montreal. And I go there quite often now because now my daughter lives there. But this comes from my friend Ross. He was in Montreal recently with his wife, and he sent me a picture from the Bell Center where the Montreal Canadiens play hockey. They don't win a lot of games, but they play hockey. They've had a rough spell the last few years for sure. But Ross went to a game and they were playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Montreal and Toronto have had a storied rivalry for a long time. And this year, Toronto has won every game against Montreal. They're having a pretty good season, which isn't unnormal for Toronto. They usually have a pretty good regular season. And then when the playoffs come together, they usually stop playing and get eliminated in the first or second round. I don't know if it'll happen again this year, but it's kind of been the way. And on the back, he wrote Maple Leafs 4, Canadiens 2. That was the final score of the game they went to see. Yeah, sad state of affairs. One day, hopefully, my Montreal Canadiens will get it back together again and be back on top, but it looks like they got a long way to go still. All right, the next thing I have to show you is an envelope, and it is chock-a-block full of stamps. And this comes from Snail Mail with Smokey. You have to go check out his channel. We do a monthly collaboration of stamp versus stamp. If you haven't seen that video, you should go look at that too, and leave a comment too on where we need to go in the future. I wanted to show you all these stamps. None of them were canceled. There's Snail Mail's address. I didn't cover it up because it's a P.O. box and he shares it freely, so I would share it as well. There's his little satchel logo at the bottom. So wonderful stamps. Now, what did he do? Well, he sent me this note. I came across these covers while shopping online for stamps and thought they needed to find their way home to Moncton. I hope you enjoy them. Thanks so much for your support and friendship. I appreciate that. Smokey, so what did he do? He bought this envelope and this envelope. And if you'll notice the cancellation, it says Moncton, New Brunswick, 1929. And I don't know if you can see the cancellation here over top, but it says Moncton. And then it says First Maritime Air Pageant, July 1st, 1929. And also in the first day cover, because it's a thing, that's what it says up here as well. The Moncton's first air pageant on July 1st and 2nd, 1929, special air mail flights. The other thing to take note on this, so it's canceled in Moncton. It was a first day cover issued for Moncton about the cancellation there, the first air pageant. And why were they doing that in 1929? The stamp actually that's on it is an airmail stamp that was released in 1928. And so in 1929, Moncton was raising funds for our new airport and our new flight college. And the airmail stamp, if you're not sure what the airmail stamp is, Canada used airmail stamps between 1928 and 1946, kind of to distinguish whether something was going by ground transport or by planes. After 1946, planes were used so frequently they didn't have to have a special stamp to determine whether it was flying by plane or going by ground transport. So that's what that stamp's all about. But in 1929, Moncton was raising money for our airport. We were growing. We had a flight college. Moncton's flight college is one of 6 to have a certain designation in the country. There's 150 schools, I guess, across the country, but Moncton is a very special one. We've trained over 20,000 pilots at our flight college here in town from 70 different countries. We have international training going on quite frequently here. We even have trained some Chinese pilots that have come over. We have 35 people, I think, that work there. 35 or 55 people work there, and they can have 70 students at a time right now, I think. But it's a pretty special school. It's been around now for, well, since 1929. So we're coming up on a pretty big milestone in the next few years. So thank you, Smokey, for one, seeing that and then determining that it is my city of Moncton, that this has something to do with the history here. You can see on the back too, there's a cancellation for Sydney because the flight went from Moncton to Sydney. Now that's not Sydney, Australia, that's Sydney, Nova Scotia. And they were determining air routes and things for Moncton. So you can get these envelopes. This one also says Sydney, but you can get them that say Moncton to St. John or Fredericton or Halifax, Charlottetown, all the other routes that they were flying to and canceling those for. So thank you so much for sending that, for realizing that might be a bit of history for my hometown, and I do appreciate it. All right, I have one more thing to show you here. This is a really long video. I know there's a lot of stuff came through, and I'm talking about a lot of different subjects. But I received this in the mail from the United States. A nice envelope, some cool looking stamps on it. And inside, I received a letter from Kevin, who's in Ohio. And he says, I hope you don't mind receiving a letter from one of your YouTube subscribers. I noted your P.O. box in there. I don't mind at all. Like I've said before, I love when people write to say they're watching my channel. And so go right ahead and send letters if you'd like to. And when you leave your address, I try to respond to. He said, I just wanted to thank you for posting your visit to the local stamp fair, the video where you challenge yourself to a $30 budget. So that was about 2 months ago I did that video. And I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. Once a year, his local area show was a few weeks ago. They have one once a year, and their show was a few weeks ago. But he was unable to attend it because he was laid up at home recuperating. So thanks to your video, I was able to feel like I could attend a local type show, and it was a great escape under the circumstances. And it says, I grew up in Ottawa, and although we visited in Quebec many times, they've never made it out to the Maritime provinces. Hopefully someday we can, because he's always wanted to see the provinces here. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, you're definitely, when you're feeling better, you're gonna have to plan a trip to come to the east coast of Canada and see what's different. Because we are very much different on the east coast than they are in central Canada or in the prairie provinces or in western Canada. It's a different kind of vibe down here, that's for sure. Very laid back. He also sent this postcard, which is blank. Talks about the different lighthouses that you're gonna see there. So there's a blank postcard. So for someone who likes lighthouses, that will go off to them. Excuse me. So he got to see my video of the stamp fair when I did a budget. Well, tomorrow, the stamp fair is happening again. I will be back there. But I probably will also stick around for the auction based on the video that I'm working on. So tomorrow I normally have my That Dad Guy Answers live stream. I'm going to push that to Sunday rather than doing it on Saturday because I don't want to feel rushed about it. I also don't want to push it till too late in the day because I know other people have other things going on, and I do like that noon time frame. So noon on Sunday will be my live stream this time. So if you were thinking about joining tomorrow, it's not going to happen tomorrow because I'll be at the stamp fair and I'll be putting together a video for you about that. So you will see a stamp fair video come out later tomorrow. And then on Sunday, we will have our live stream and I'll do a little post-crossing. So that's the plan for the weekend. That's enough. You guys are probably bored silly from this video or you can't get enough. Either way, I appreciate you tuning in to all the videos, leaving comments, leaving thumbs up, and sharing it around to other people because I see the channel is growing, so other people are finding out about it. I appreciate that. And for you guys, have a magical week. What follow? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?